Weekly Wrestling Review with your hosts, Hal, Jack, and
Chaz.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Weekly Wrestling Review. I'm Hal.
I'm Chaz.
And today we will be covering the Raw for the April 27th and SmackDown for May the 1st. As far as news this week, there's really only been a lot of people that have been released have actually appeared on podcasts and other sorts of shows. Of particular note that I can think off the top of my head are the formerly known as the Revival, the Revolt.
Yep.
They have talked about mostly just staying on the independent circuit in general. They've not really talked about assigning themselves to a particular company. There was another major one that's not coming to me. It was Eric Rowan.
Yes.
Formerly Eric Rowan. I'm not sure what ring name he's going to go on the Indies. Where he's going to end up. He could entirely end up in AEW along with Brody Lee, his former tag team partner in Luke Harper. Either way, best of luck to everyone who unfortunately got released. Some of them we will still see for the foreseeable future. Possibly Sarah Logan, because she's been referenced quite a bit recently. Definitely Drake Maverick, since he's in the Cruiserweight Open.
There's also a lot of talk about that specific one being a kayfabe. I mean, that's one thing I've heard floating around online.
That if it is, that whole Twitter thing was pretty well executed if it is fake. If not, it sucks that he obviously went through that whole situation.
I think one big news, I don't know what to take from it, but I don't know if you've seen it. A lot of talk on Vince McMahon actually selling the WWE.
Yeah, I doubt it will transpire that way. I suspect the most likely truth to the situation is that he might be looking to possibly get a shareholder in. That seems more likely to me to split the shares of the company more than sell it outright.
I mean, the names that are currently being linked, I mean, big companies, but there's a few there's a lot of names floating around, but there's three that actually really stick out. One being Fox, one being ESPN. Now, the surprising one for me was Disney.
Well, that would jive with Fox because Fox is now owned by Disney.
I know, but it's just
they're kind of in the habit of wanting to buy everything at the moment.
I guess.
We're going to end up in a dystopian future in which Disney owns literally everything.
Yeah, and Vince is now known as Screw It Vince.
Okay, Screw It Vince?
Yeah, because apparently that's his mentality backstage now. With everything that's going on, the XFL going under, the current situation we're in, apparently backstage he's been known to be called Screw It Vince. There's a lot of people backstage talking about this whole selling the WWE. Arn Anderson's come out about it, along with Zeb Coulter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine I can't imagine wrestling without Vince. I kind of fear, along with a lot of people I would imagine would fear for pro wrestling if Vince actually did sell. Because I've always imagined it to stick in the McMahon family at least.
As I said, I've expected the reports to be more about possibly looking for shares in the company, possibly also looking to potentially shove off the network stuff somewhere, because there's obviously been the rumours a few months ago where it's all about losing sort of faith in the WWE network and due to its recent status. I guess that would be due to how much subscribers they're getting and like the profits it makes and such like that. So there's a lot of talk about that. So I expect it to be more that side of the business that he's looking at, more than say selling the entire business outright.
Yeah, but it's don't know. It's still a situation that
The answer is normally we don't know.
Yeah.
It's all just reports and hearsay at the moment. We don't have anything really concrete to go on. Business deals happen all the time. And it's entirely possible something will come of this, but I don't foresee the entire company being lost to another, a bigger conglomerate or multi. But the week itself starts with Raw.
Yep.
And thing to note for this is that Samoa Joe finally returned. Currently, it's only been in just an on-screen role, not active wrestling. He was on commentary tonight. The first segment is the VIP lounge with our host, MVP.
Yep.
It starts with Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio, and Apollo Crews, hyping up the Money in the Bank ladder match, or the men's one, of course. Them talking about the match is eventually interrupted by Andrade, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory, and Zelina Vega, of course. Zelina Vega does a lot of talking, actually tends to do as the manager of the three men, and talks about Cruz, Mysterio, and Black giving up their spots in the match for Andrade, the heel team, which obviously isn't going to happen. And interestingly, the entire thing just leads to, after a break, a 6-man tag match.
Yeah.
I thought this was a pretty solid opening match, as far as opening matches go.
Yeah, I mean, we do have, in theory, 6 really talented guys in the ring. If you give them time to perform, they will perform.
Absolutely.
You know, I was really impressed with a lot of it. I wasn't too keen on it at first because you've got a team that we haven't established yet that are just forming, but they seem to work well together against 3 people that don't normally team together. They, for obvious reasons, they don't normally team together. Now, so it was a worry of how that would turn out, but the styles all matched.
It's very nostalgic of the Teddy Long era of SmackDown.
Just throwing people together. Let's just have 6-man tag matches here, there, and everywhere.
There's 3 faces and 3 heels that are all feuding either separately or together, usually separately with Teddy Long. He'd come out in the middle of them arguing at the beginning of the show and set up a main event. There was a 6-man tag between all 6 people.
Only this is the opening match.
Yeah.
But still, solid opening match.
Yeah. Apollo Crews, interestingly, getting the pin on Andrade.
Yeah.
Interesting, that.
It was very interesting.
Especially with how things go regarding the Money in the Bank tonight.
As we find out later on. But still, I mean, we've gone from Apollo Crews being a squash SmackDown superstar to actually being a bit dominant on Raw.
Yeah. Definitely. And after the match, Andrade challenges Apollo Crews, saying he could fight for the title whenever he wants. Crews tries to say right now, smacks him in the face, and there is a connection there. There's like actual connection. There's some sauce to that slap.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you mentioned it, I cringed. I mean, I can still hear it.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't just blame that on the fact that there's no crowd. It was ferocious. And
that match is scheduled.
One thing about that segment is, interestingly enough, one thing that we noticed a bit last week as well. I mean, Andrade was in the ring getting attacked, and the other 2 refused to get in to help him.
Yeah.
Zelina and Andrade sort of Andrade mainly here blames Theory and Garza for their 6-man tag team loss. So even though we've just got this team thrown together, we're already seeing shades of them being split up.
I wonder if that's due to the circumstances, or if the Andrade got injured and it was just him and Garza. When Fury came in, he sort of really gelled with Garza. So perhaps they're thinking that those 2 could just work as a tag team within the tag team division separately.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure.
Andrade's a big push guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've only got to look at his NXT days to know that he can be a main event player.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think I'd like to see a feud between Apollo Crews and Andrade accumulate if we're going by the dominant.
If we're going the direction, yeah. Next on the card was something that I found frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, Nia Jax, Asuka, and Shayna Baszler And
scheduled for a triple threat match.
sorry, let me just repeat that. Nia Jax, Asuka, and Shayna Baszler were scheduled for a match. All three women came out, but then just to run it down, Baszler starts throwing Asuka around. Nia Jax starts throwing Baszler around. That all continues for a while. Nia Jax eventually gets out a ladder. She takes out both women, and then her music just plays.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That happened.
The bell didn't even ring. It wasn't a match.
Well.
Which is a shame, because that could have been interesting.
It really could. I mean, you got 3 talented superstars in there.
And also, like, this entire thing just completely throws cold water, throws sand over the attempts to fire Shayna Baszler's career back up after the weird WrestleMania performance.
Yeah, we go from completely destroying people to the weird WrestleMania performance where she loses to Becky Lynch. We then go to a sort of sinister Shayna Baszler where she's just
an execution in breaking people's arms.
Exactly, because Becky Lynch is obviously on her mind, but then we're just getting thrown around and annihilated by Nia Jax. It just made her look weak over weeks of dominance.
After that, which I don't even really know what to say about, it should have been more than it was. And considering some of the things that happened tonight, I think there could never have been space for it. Speaking of, Bobby Lashley versus Denzel Dejournette. This was just, let's let Bobby Lashley murder someone.
Yeah.
Interestingly, though, this does potentially feed into the whole angle that I just want to end.
Yeah.
Which is him and Lana. Because, notably, he tells Lana not to come out.
Yeah.
And it's his first win since a while.
I mean, yeah, pretty much like ever since he's got with Lana.
Yeah.
He's been like the AJ Lee to him, the kiss of death.
So, yeah, stoking that still. But yeah, there's not really much to say about that. But Lashley looks fine. I've never had a problem with Lashley as an in-ring competitor. He's fine if he's used properly.
Yeah, it's just the booking of Lashley.
Yeah.
It's always been the problem. The first run in WWE was okay. He went to TNA, performed absolutely magnificent. I think we've said this a lot of times now. He comes back to WWE and he's an overshadow. I mean, Heath Slater was more known than him.
He was buried the moment the sisters angle came into play.
Oh, the feud with Sami Zayn.
We were at the arena on second or third appearance of that angle.
Yeah.
We saw some of this trash fire live.
I mean,
in the arena when it was here in the UK.
It's as bad live as you're seeing on TV.
Yeah. I think the only the slight positive is that we can't see it as well because of our seating. Next, another match that felt kind of pointless. Ruby Riott versus Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
We had pretty much the same match last week.
Well, I think we've had this match. Ain't this the 3rd time in a row now?
And the only thing really to say about this match is that
Liv Morgan continues to impress.
Yeah, apparently Liv Morgan's springboard move, the one she used to end the match, it is now actually been named as a signature move.
Yeah.
That she calls Oblivion.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's something different. I mean, we don't see many finishers like that.
No.
You know, so, good on her for coming up with something a bit different to what we're used to seeing. And it's managed to put Ruby Riott away on a few occasions.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know whether that's credit to Liv Morgan or are we actually burying Ruby Riott as well?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird that they would do this. Again, I think this match was kind of pointless. This and the Bobby Lashley thing really makes me think that, if you remove those two, you could have had an actual triple threat match between the 3 women earlier.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point. These don't seem like they add anything, really. Next, we had the Viking Raiders in an actual promo and not just carpool karaoke with a turkey leg.
Yeah.
They obviously are looking to try and street profits, saying that because they've never actually officially faced each other and gone beaten in the ring, the Street Profits, despite being tag champions, are still only the 2nd best team on Raw.
I mean, it's hard to argue, isn't it?
It would be interesting to see that match.
Yeah, if it's given time.
Yeah, two very Dawkins and Ford can really go, and surprisingly, Ivar and Eric can really go as well.
I mean, they're not just you think it's not like the old days. Big powerhouses can move just like the cruiserweights now.
I think that's down to a lot of them being not so big that they're a spectacle. Like, I think a lot of the old big guys are your big shows. Your Andre the Giant, for as great as Andre the Giant was, he was still 7 foot. Or something like that.
The thing is, do you know what I always liked about them is they give you the element of surprise later on. Do you remember the first time you see Kane and Big Show do drop kicks?
Yeah.
You know that they were moments that you'll never get.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like a lot of bigger wrestlers are often portrayed in the classic carnival / old school sort of wrestling where it was more like the strongmen.
Yeah.
And they're treated that way. Whereas nowadays, because of the modernization of wrestling, with the indies being a lot more popular now, you've got big guys that can do proper indie moves, that can do drop kicks, that can do suicide dives, that can fucking run around as much as the smaller guys can.
It's because that's where they come from.
And that's excellent. I think that's
what we've
really
always
cool.
wanted.
Like, seeing people of that caliber, like I remember the first time I saw Luke Harper do a drop kick, and he is nothing on the size of some of these people, but the first time you see him do it, you're like, what?
I remember even going back a little bit. I know he's not necessarily like a big massive guy, but Samoa Joe.
Yeah, of course.
The first time I saw him and he's doing spin kicks and hurricane runners, and I'm like, wow, dude.
Exactly. But yeah, Viking Raiders and Street Profits, that would be a good match.
Yeah.
If it's given time, as you said. Hopefully we'll see that in the near future. After that, we had the return of the modern-day Maharaja.
Yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced? I always forget.
Yeah, Maharaja.
Jinder Mahal returns, still looking in good shape.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's Akira Tozawa's time to get buried again.
Yeah.
So sadly, that happens, and it's again a nothing match. But I'll allow this one. The reason I don't put this in with the Bobby Lashley match is that Jinder Mahal's just returned.
Yeah.
It's a good way to sort of hype him up. Hopefully this will build to something.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily what. Hopefully an actual push.
Yeah. Hopefully
and
not an unexplained title run.
Yeah.
Just to promote his country.
Which again, there's nothing wrong with doing the business, but you could have stretched out a little bit.
Yeah, give a story to it. I mean,
absolutely.
He won a battle royal out of nowhere, then won the WWE title out of nowhere.
Next is some casual flirting, as Charlie Caruso is summarily ignored by Andrade and Zelina Vega as she tries to interview them. But Angel Garza gives her a bit of time.
Yeah.
Mostly to give her a rose.
Yeah.
And to do his thing. This is Angel Garza's whole thing. It's a pretty boy angle. I don't think we've seen someone pull this off since the days of heel Shawn Michaels in the 90s.
I was just about to say, this screams like modern day Hispanic heartbreak kid.
Which is great. I think it's an angle that's not used a lot, especially for a heel. It's surprisingly, this comes from Angel Garza and not Dolph Ziggler, who's basically been forming himself into Shawn Michaels for the better half of 2 years.
Yeah, but
3 years.
Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler even, sorry. It's getting that bad that I'm actually calling them each other's names. But Dolph Ziggler's more adapted the entire
moveset,
the moveset
and gimmick,
even down to the oversells that Shawn Michaels used to do. You know, then there's selling moves, and then there's Shawn Michaels Ric Flair style selling moves, and it's so over the top. Even The Rock. Do you remember when The Rock used to sell the Stone Cold Stunner?
Oh, you mean when he turned to a fish out of water for a good minute?
Exactly, and we got a bit of the Spinner-Rooney in there sometimes.
It's fun though.
It's fun, but I don't know. With Shawn Michaels, it always just seems so over the top because it wasn't just a one-off thing with him. He done it every match.
He's very much a character enjoyer, but he did come from a different time of wrestling as well. The New Generation era was definitely a time where that sort of thing would be super over.
Yeah.
After that, we had the US title match with Apollo Crews vs Andrade. For me, I thought this was match of the night.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Really
with it.
strong match.
The dominance of Apollo Crews.
Absolutely. really good storytelling with the knee over the course of the match.
Yeah.
And that is eventually what leads to what we were talking about with both potentially going into a program here beyond this match.
Yeah.
And also, it will do something interesting to a certain match that comes on pay-per-view.
Yep. The Money in the Bank.
Yep. Because the match ends in ref stoppage.
Yeah.
After, I believe, Apollo Crews misses a move from the top rope, Andrade moves out the way.
He lands awkwardly on his knee that he's been struggling with
the whole match.
Yeah.
And the ref decides to stop it, and it's enough to get him taken out of the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I mean, this was a weird one because at first it was like, is this real? Is it storyline?
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem we were getting up until news reports suggest that this is a kayfabe.
Yeah.
So it is a storyline injury, which at the time I found weird because we're sort of progressing with Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
So if nothing was to come of this, I wouldn't understand why we've made it a bit of a dominant push.
Just for it to end like this.
Just for it to end like this and we go back to nothing.
Yeah.
So I am kind of hoping we do get an angle out of this, and I feel like...
The obvious thing would be to have him in the US title picture.
Exactly what I was going to say, because, no offence to Andrade, I don't remember seeing him really defend the title.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we've had a couple with Humberto Carrillo, like we've had that sort of thing, but other than that, can you tell me who he's actually defended the title against?
Not really. Interestingly as well, there have been rumours Apollo Crews might be looking to go for a heel turn in the near future.
I mean, that is one possibility that I would get behind.
Yeah.
Because Apollo Crews has been there for so long. He's never really been a face, but never really been a heel either. He's sort of always been that tweener that we ain't quite seen come
That's
out of the
because
shell.
he's never quite ever been given like an actual character or gimmick. He's always just kind of been in the mid-card / sort of job area. Which is a shame because he's shown he's capable, certainly over the last few weeks. So hopefully this is maybe them taking him off TV for a bit, maybe reinventing the character a little for a potential heel turn.
Well, apparently, according to what I've read, Paul Heyman is the mastermind behind this whole new look on Apollo Crews.
Right.
Because apparently he watched Apollo Crews in his NXT run and said, this is a guy, you've got something with this guy. And he's seen him being used on SmackDown, and he has apparently said obviously the switch from SmackDown to Raw was so sudden that we wondered why.
Yeah.
And this makes me suggest that these rumours may be true, because we know if Paul Heyman sees something in a guy, then it's worth running with. Just simply because of Paul Heyman's wrestling mind. He's got such a great wrestling mind. And apparently he watched him on NXT, knew that they had something there and seen his progression on SmackDown, and he wasn't happy with it. So he personally asked for him to be brought to Raw. And this is why we're seeing this Apollo Crews. You know, if that's the case, then fair play. It's great, because I'm liking this new Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'd never thought I'd say, given how he was booked coming out of NXT.
Absolutely. We'll see where that goes. The final match of the night, but not the final segment, is Cedric Alexander and Ricochet once again in a match, this time with Everrise, an NXT tag team. My memory escaped me on who the two wrestlers in Everrise are. I don't remember recalling their names too much during commentary.
No, I think that was just because this was again another sort of, you know, it's to get over Cedric and Ricochet more than anything.
Who are still looking like a really good team. They have a great double team finish for this match. But interestingly, the match leads to, after Alexander and Ricochet win, MVP coming on the Titantron, I think. Well, the Tron. It's you know, the whole tie-in thing has been going for a while. Coming on the screen to basically set up a match for next week with them facing Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne again.
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of looks like, now, for me personally, when a segment like this comes on, no, don't get me wrong, like, I know a lot of people will be upset by this, but if things happen the way I think they will, let's not call it burying Ricochet and Cedric here.
Yeah.
Because what we've been asking for is fresh tag teams.
Yeah.
And if we've seen Shane Vaughan and Brenda Vick team together against Cedric Alexander and Ricochet for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And coming up short just to sort of show you what Cedric and Ricochet can do. Now, for me, MVP coming on the Titantron and basically saying that he's setting up a match, it looks like he's took these two by the scruff of the neck. So don't be surprised if we do see a match next week between the two where Brendan Vink and Shane Vaughan actually get the win over Cedric and Ricochet.
Interestingly, it does seem like MVP's almost got like a general manager sort of role on Raw at the moment, which is interesting. But yeah, the nice thing about it is if Vaughan and Vink can get a victory next week and potentially still make Alexander and Ricochet look good, we could be looking at two entirely fresh teams on Raw.
Exactly.
Which is great. Which I would like because, again...
the tag team division's been a bit soft recently.
Yeah. Which is
a bit stale.
A problem WWE have had on and off for ages. But it's good to see potentially two new teams. The night ends with the contract signing for the McIntyre and Rollins match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean we talk about matches of the night, but come on.
This was a great segment.
This is segment of the night.
Particularly, Drew McIntyre's always pretty decent, but Seth Rollins just was up to 11 on this one.
Yeah.
He took it up to 11. Seth Rollins sounded great. Honestly, this Messiah gimmick has been some of Seth Rollins' best mic work for me.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Yeah. I mean, it flows with him, don't it? I mean, there's not often times you can look at someone and say the character fits the person.
Yeah.
But this gimmick for Seth Rollins at the moment, you can really see, like, you're there with him.
And I think part of that is that in real life, Seth Rollins is kind of an arrogant person if his Twitter feed's to be believed.
Yeah.
So the arrogant heel certainly works for him. It's a good gimmick. I love both of these people here. Obviously, things end in confrontation. I don't think a contract... Even Rollins, I think, lampshaded that these things always end in trouble by telling Lawler to get out the ring.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
I don't think... even, like, I know it's something, like, that happens in everything. Like, every contract signing, we get that brawl. But could you imagine if we just got a contract signing?
Wouldn't be good TV, would it?
Exactly. So you got to see a table flip over or something.
But the interesting thing is, Buddy Murphy saved Rollins twice during this segment.
Yeah.
Once things come to blows, Buddy Murphy helps Seth Rollins dodge one Claymore, and then as they're getting away... he takes one for the team. He takes one for the Messiah.
He does.
Now, the way it's angled...
this is something we could possibly see in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's going to be one of those things that makes Seth Rollins defeat Drew McIntyre and we go, oh, Drew.
Yeah.
You know, look back on history on these type of things. They never actually plan out. I mean, they work on Raw. They work on SmackDown. It gets to the pay-per-view and it backfires.
Yeah.
So let's not think that Buddy Murphy's influence is going to automatically make Seth Rollins win the title.
Absolutely not.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'd love to see Drew keep the title for Mark, but I wouldn't be too disappointed if he did drop the title to Seth Rollins just because of the current situation we're in. It feels like the moment was ruined just from this. You know, there's no crowd there to, like, sort of be with Drew. Like, every WrestleMania, the title, Kofi's run, you go back to the Rock and Stone Cold's runs, all them fantastic matches. I mean, could you imagine even the moment, like, the what was it, the end of an era Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, right? Could you imagine that moment where they just all walk down the ramp and hug each other, and there'll be no crowd there?
Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair at
Exactly.
WrestleMania.
So it's like, without the crowd, you missed out on them moments, which is, I feel like, I don't want to say it, but I have to. It's something that can only happen to Drew.
But, you know, just because obviously circumstances have made it so we can't have those moments the way they would be in normal times, it doesn't mean they should not do any, like, surprises or
No, of course.
good moments or crazy moments, because otherwise we'd just be watching really boring wrestling.
Well, I mean, we're already getting the crazy moments.
Yeah, which is great. I mean,
The
fabulous
Firefly
again,
Funhouse was
absolutely.
a crazy moment. The Undertaker AJ Styles match was a crazy moment.
Yeah.
Edge Randy Orton, even though a lot of people complained that ran on far too long, it was still packed with excitement.
It's like great spots in it for sure.
I mean, and it gave us a chance to actually see Edge go again.
Yeah. So let's talk about Raw. I thought it was okay. My complaints really do come to like the middle of the show.
It's more to do with the fact that we were teased a triple threat match, didn't get a triple threat match, but got 3 matches in there that you could have took out and it not made a difference.
Right, absolutely. And that's sort of the problem. Like, the middle of the card is the problem. It has a really decent opening and a really strong end.
In the middle is you know,
definitely
take it or leave it. I mean, but the thing is, the reason I would have liked to have seen this triple threat match is because it's the 3 competitors from Raw in the Women's Money in the Bank. We got to see the 3 men.
Yeah.
Why can't we see the 3 women? I know we got a couple of spots.
The interesting thing is they are really overselling Nia Jax being dominant.
Yeah.
Which screams to me she's not winning.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I mean...
That's usually how it goes. She'll be eliminated from that match in some fashion at some point.
Yeah. I mean, eliminated's a bit of a... you just isolated somewhat.
Sort of like being taken out by the women, so she's like disabled.
She's going to be left in reception while the rest are upstairs fighting in the ring.
Because it just screams like she's too dominant. Like this usually leads to a thing where it doesn't go.
Well, let's talk about things that can happen in that respect. I mean, like locking her in the girls' toilets. you know, locking her in the conference room. Little things like that.
We will see what. Throw her through one of the windows like that one guy in the old TV spots.
But the thing is, you lock Nia Jax in that room, she's out of the match. You lock Shayna Baszler in that room, somewhere down the line, you're going to get the camera just randomly turned to that door and Shayna Baszler's took it off the hinge.
She's going to Goldberg it.
Yeah, you know.
But no.
There's so many fun stuff if you think about the Money in the Bank ladder match in whole.
Both of those matches.
That they could be really fun.
Yeah.
Fighting in an elevator, fighting on the stairs, fighting because we're not knowing what to expect from it.
So, SmackDown starts with Daniel Bryan talking about the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
He talks about seeing as a new challenge, something different for him, at least compared to recently. I think he has been in a Money in the Bank match before, possibly.
Pretty sure he won.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank ladder match before.
Either way.
He won the World Heavyweight title for Big Show by cashing in the SmackDown Money in the Bank.
Either way, this leads to him calling out Baron Corbin for attacking Drew Gulak before.
Yeah.
They have a match. It's actually a good match.
Yeah.
Corbin kind of looks decent in this match. I don't know how much of that is
due to the fact that he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I'm not sure. There's this really good spot where Bryan's caught into a deep 6.
Yeah.
That's a really nice spot. That's one that stood out to me. The match does end in a DQ when Corbin just sort of belts Bryan with a ladder.
The thing is, I'm kind of okay with that because that sells the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't attack him with any random weapon to get disqualified. He attacked him with a ladder specifically. That's sending a message. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. After the match, interestingly, Corbin tries to just completely eliminate Daniel Bryan. He tries to set up the End of Days, which reverses into a yes lock, which then prompts Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura to come out to help beat Bryan down. And Corbin ends it by throwing Bryan off the stage.
I mean,
he seems to have a thing for throwing people off of heights at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a gimmick. But, I mean, don't expect him to be throwing anyone off of the headquarters now.
Oh no, I mean, let's not do that. Brian's career's already been shortened. Let's not shorten his entire life. Next we had the Firefly Funhouse, which these segments are always generally pretty good, even when they're carried by Wyatt. This
seemed a bit flat.
This is one that had to be carried by Wyatt. The issue with this feud and the way they're doing it is they're treating Braun as any other face against Bray Wyatt, which the problem with that is this is not Braun's character. Braun's character does not fit being really... I think I've said this before a few times on the podcast at this point. Braun's character does not fit being really snarky and like, aha, you're the funny, like, children's programming guy.
The thing that gets me is now...
And they have history. They could work on this in a really interesting way.
The thing that don't work on Braun for me is the fact that we're still calling him the monster among men.
Yeah.
Yeah? You can't be a face and still be called a monster. I mean, that's like telling kids that monsters are good guys. How do you do that? They're supposed to be scared of monsters. That's the generic idea of it. So to still be calling Braun Strowman a monster, but then try and make him be goofy and funny because he's a face, it just doesn't work.
Even if, like, he had an entirely new game, Braun just doesn't have the sort of look or personality to pull off being that sort of goofy sort of face.
No.
It doesn't work for him. This should have been handled differently.
It doesn't work for big guys in general. I mean, a big guy is supposed to look intimidating. You can't turn them into a cartoon and expect us to take them seriously in world title matches.
But, ultimately this whole thing was, again, Bray Wyatt sort of recanting that Braun used to be one of his flock. That he actually pretty much blames him in kayfabe for the reason the Wyatt family disbanded, really, with his dissolution from the group, from leaving the group, which is interesting. But yeah, there's not much to this. All these segments have been kind of the same. It's been Bray Wyatt playing mind games via just being like, oh, you used to be one of us, and I'm going to punish you for changing your ways.
Are we going to get an actual match out of these two, though, or do you think it's going to be another one of those silly, like, fun ones, like the Firefly Funhouse?
I'd be down for it being another weird taped segment at some point.
Because, like, one thing I'm noticing is that we're not seeing Bray Wyatt.
Right.
We're seeing him on the Titantron in the Firefly Funhouse, but we're not seeing him in the arenas.
That's a good point. I wonder, because we haven't actually seen him in the arena since everything happened.
I think the actual time, I think it's one time, because there was that moment with John Cena when he was in the empty crowd section with all the puppets.
That's right.
That's the only time we've actually seen Bray Wyatt in the arena since this whole thing began. The last time we saw Bray Wyatt in an actual arena before then was the moment John Cena returned.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a reason for that, or if they are just playing up, like, using the taped social recorded angle to have more of a creative thing with him. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Next we come to our regularly scheduled. I'm gonna find a musical bit for this just to have its own intro, because it seems like we're gonna get this every week now.
Yeah.
It's the Sheamus kicks a rookie's ass minute.
Yeah.
This time it's Leon Ruff appearing again to summarily just be forgotten about when Sheamus destroys him. Again, hopefully we're getting to the end of this, because apparently Jeff Hardy's returning next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the end of it, because it's getting really boring.
Yeah.
I like Sheamus. I'm starting to not like seeing Sheamus on TV.
I mean,
because I know where it's going.
The thing is, do you think by bringing them, do you think we're just going to throw them straight into the Money in the Bank pay-per-view as a match between the two? Or do you think we should let this feud simmer for a bit?
I mean, my answer is always let it simmer. Some of the, I can't think of a single great or memorable feud that is just a month long.
I'd be okay if, it wouldn't even be a month long, really.
You know what I mean? Just over one pay-per-view.
I wouldn't mind it if we did have a match between them and Money in the Bank and it ended with them going further with a feud.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like, if he just returns on SmackDown and they go, right, let's fight at this and then have the match and that be the end of it, it'd be like, we just have a load of build-up for absolutely nothing.
Especially since it probably means Jeff Hardy would win.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah, which, again, burying Sheamus already.
Yeah.
When we're trying to make him look dominant against nobodies.
Next, we return to somehow, again, the best angle currently on WWE TV. I don't understand how this is the best thing going. But we have 3 segments related to it. First, we have Otis and Mandy Rose both like giving each other good luck for their matches coming up. Otis gets kissed on the cheek, which is a big moment.
Yeah.
Otis is an enigma.
Yeah.
He's such a weird guy who Vince would never have an idea to push.
No. But for some strange reason,
he's getting there, he's got like the charisma to pull it off. I want to see him every week.
Yeah.
Doing his stupid dance and shouting Tucky.
Yeah.
And getting kissed by Mandy Rose. I want to see it every week. I love this guy.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's the perfect person for the role.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't ask for a better angle right now.
I don't understand how he's so good. But yeah, so that leads to the Mandy Rose Carmella match, which, for the most part,
is a dead match.
Yeah, there's some decent back and forth. It's clear that there's nothing really planned for this because it's going to turn into more of a story segment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take long for Sonya Deville to come out.
Yeah.
At first, just to distract Mandy by talking crap on the mic. But once Carmella gets to win by getting a super kick, I think it was.
Yeah.
And advancing to the Money in the Bank match, Sonya proceeds to basically try to murder Mandy Rose on live TV. I think we're still live.
I'm loving this new heel.
Aggressive, Sonya. Like psychotic Sonya Deville, yeah.
It's something we've all known she's had. No, don't get me wrong. I did like the whole Fire and Ice, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, but I always felt it was out of place. I mean, we've got a cage fighter and a model in a team together, and it just doesn't scream amazing chemistry. There was chemistry because they're friends, but like it didn't have that iconic factor, the Bellas. It didn't seem like it was gonna go anywhere.
But yeah, it was good. Sonya looked intense.
Yeah,
I'm going to say, because it's the nicest word I can say about her acting. In a good way. It's obviously the character she's going for. And obviously this leads to another segment backstage where Otis comes to check on Mandy, make sure she's okay. She keeps telling him she's okay so he can go on with his match. And as he goes to leave, Ziggler just has to get a word in as he's walking by, just asking how Mandy's doing. And you can see in Otis's eyes that he wants to just strangle him right there. But they have a match later. Before that main event, we have The New Day versus the Forgotten Sons.
We do.
The Miz and Morrison, hey,
ho,
are on commentary for this. This is a fairly decent tag match. I can't say too much about what to expect from Wesley Blake, that's one.
And Steve Cutler.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from them yet, because I'm not super familiar with them. I saw a bit of Blake when it was Blake and Murphy back in the NXT days, but I don't really know anything about Cutler.
No, it's like if Sons of Anarchy were a tag team.
Absolutely.
This is them.
It's a great biker sort of gimmick thing going on. But
it's like our own version of Aces and Eights.
They have a good look. It'll be interesting to see more of them. Interestingly, they do, mind you, there is some help, but they do win.
Yeah, they get the win.
Riker helps from being the third man at ringside, but still, they still get a win on the tag champions, which is still a good push for them.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see another match later on where
we've got...
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from Forgotten Sons at this moment because I've not seen too much of them. I know Blake from his time with Murphy, as part of Blake Murphy in NXT. But they have a good look, and hopefully we will see some proper action from them.
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, it's funny because we had the surprising Lucha House Party defeating Miz and Morrison last week. Now we have the Forgotten Sons defeating the tag team champions. Interestingly enough, we then get the announcement that there's going to be a fatal 4-way tag team title match at Money in the Bank with all 4 of these teams.
Absolutely.
So
that could be a really good match.
It can.
Because at this point, like we already know the Miz Morrison can go. We already know the New Day can go.
We've seen shocking...
Metalik and Dorado have looked good recently. And it'll be nice to see what they've gone Sons about. I'm excited for that match. That might be the match I'm most excited for. Yeah. Even above like the Money in the Bank ladder match is.
Yeah, only it's more because of the fact that we weren't expecting last week to happen the way it did. First of all, Lucha House Party spoke.
Yeah.
Right?
You talked about this,
which automatically says to me that something's going to happen here. But I was never expecting them to knock off the former tag team champions.
Yeah.
You know, so for
they're
that to
really
happen,
pushing these two teams out.
Then the Forgotten Sons beat the tag team champions. This could be a match where you're going into it and knowing who's going to win.
I have no idea who's going to win this match.
Exactly. Whereas if this match was just one of those announced matches, you turn around, New Day are winning this.
Yeah.
But because they've done what they've done,
it's been well pushed.
Yeah.
It's been well built up.
Yeah. And again, it's coming from the tag team division that we're saying needed a bit of a lift.
Hopefully this is a good sign that Raw and SmackDown are both trying to do something with their tag divisions.
Yeah.
Our main event, though, is Dolph Ziggler vs. Otis. It's the final qualifying match for the Money in the Bank.
Seems like we've waited a long time for this one as well, because it's the only one that just seemed to float around.
Yeah. So, Otis is really aggressive for a lot of this match. This bites him in the bum at one point because Ziggler moves away from the turnbuckle and he just goes careening into it. Can't stop that train once it starts going. Too big, too much momentum. Yeah. Can't stop. Ziggler does get some offense in from that, but really, ultimately, this is fairly cut and dry.
Yeah.
Otis gets the win after dodging 2 of Ziggler's signatures and taking, I believe, the Famouser and kicking out.
Yeah. I mean, that shows a pushing mentality for a storyline that just seems to be over with the crowd. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Dolph Ziggler would have suited the Money in the Bank ladder match more than Otis. But if they do something with Otis during this, I mean, we're still under the storyline, so we can still expect Dolph Ziggler to appear and do something.
Maybe.
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville to get involved. And I'm still expecting somewhere down the line that we're going to see that mixed tag team match between them.
I would expect so, yeah.
You know, maybe if they're saving that for SummerSlam.
Maybe.
You know, but even still...
Still shocked this is one of the best things WWE have going right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, another thing as well, we did say that this was the last Money in the Bank qualifying spot, but theoretically, we've still got one more. Apollo Crews is...
Oh, that's right, we haven't seen the announcement for that, that's true.
A lot of speculation is that it's going to be AJ Styles. Whether that's the case, I don't know. Need to watch this week's Raw to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think SmackDown was the stronger show this week.
Not that Raw was overly bad, it was just disappointing.
It's just the difference of, like...
storytelling. Really,
if you'd cut out everything but a triple threat match from the mid area of the card and just had that be a longer match, I think Raw would have been fine. Yeah. It's really that middle area that felt like all filler, where SmackDown had no filler. Yeah, I mean, everything mad on SmackDown.
You could have kept Jinder Mahal squashing Akira Tozawa. Yeah. You didn't need Bobby Lashley squashing whoever he thought.
Denzel Dejonet.
That's the guy. And you didn't need the Ruby Riott Liv Morgan.
No, because we've already seen that a bunch of times at this point. You can even count like the triple threat with Sarah Logan and stuff like that. Like, we've seen this matchup before.
We've seen this matchup ever since
they split up.
Ruby Riott returned.
Yeah, ever since she returned.
Which was before Elimination Chamber.
They kind of teased Riot Squad reunion, but then it just fell apart.
Yeah. And it done nothing for Ruby Riott, and she was the one that returned.
Yeah, interestingly, it seems like Ruby Riott's being squashed.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Although I do like Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I do like Liv Morgan.
But I would have liked to see Ruby do more.
If they do end up pushing Ruby Riott, it'll be good. Because you never see people turn massively heel and just completely get squashed for the rest of the career.
I've not seen such a meaningless return since Shelton Benjamin returned.
Exactly. you know. So, and we all know how that goes. But yeah, SmackDown definitely was the better part of the two shows this week. The storytelling is still good.
Absolutely.
Still gotta give credit for the main event segment of Raw. Seth Rollins was phenomenal.
I still think so. Even though I said SmackDown overall is better, I think Raw had the best match and best segment.
Yeah.
I think with pretty much like the best match being the match we said, which was.
I think it was
Apollo Crews and Andrade.
I think with it, SmackDown had more of the entertainment factor. It kept you going the whole way through. Whereas Raw just had you beginning and ending in the middle. You were just sort of.
Raw had more of a curve.
Yeah.
SmackDown was a straight line.
Yeah. SmackDown was a straight line getting you to Money in the Bank or the final go home to Money in the Bank. Whereas Raw
had more of a curve where it sloped down the middle but went right up at the end.
Yeah. They've got to redeem themselves on the go home. So
yeah.
They have to.
Let's see how that goes.
I mean, already we've already got the factor of having to see what happens with who's going to qualify for the Money in the Bank with Apollo Crews being pulled out of it.
Yeah.
And then you got all other stuff. I mean,
we know AJ Styles is returning.
Yeah. There's a potential for the Street Profits tag team match with Viking Raiders. You've also got, are they going to keep teasing a breakup between Andrade Garza?
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of interesting things going into Raw. Is Ruby Riott actually going to stop fighting Liv Morgan?
We can only hope. Let's give her something new to do.
Yeah.
Give her and Liv Morgan something new to do.
Yeah.
Either way, a pretty good week, I think, overall for the two main shows. So, next week is the Money in the Bank week.
Yeah.
So, we'll have our usual show. We'll have our predictions. And we are still planning, although there's been some difficulties with setting up the video stuff through tests and such, we will still be trying to do a Money in the Bank reaction video, which will be a footage from us watching it live. We will try to get that sorted out. And then, obviously, we will talk about Money in the Bank as well at some point.
And then from then on, we should have proper camera equipment to actually...
We'll see how it goes to make things more consistent. There's some other things potentially in the works, but we're trying to get more content out to the channel. Either way, solid week. Until next time, I've been Hal.
I've been Chaz.
And we shall see you next time.